Africa. Good morning. This is Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from the Republic of Kenya in Nairobi. Good morning, viewers, wherever you are across the continent of Africa. Again, I have not put on my microphone. I always forget this, and it is very bad. Miriam has always told me to start putting on the microphone. But good morning across the continent of Africa. Thank you very much for watching, listening, and enjoying the debates of Punchline Africa Television, together with our sister companies and across the continent of Africa and the globe. Thank you very much for the satellite stations that give us all the broadcasting and the Zoom, the YouTube, the Facebook, the Twitter handle, everything. We are going to change the framework on which we work. Good morning, all of you. Good morning back in Nairobi, in the headquarters. Miriam has got plenty on the newspapers. Good morning, Miriam. Happy Easter to you.
Indeed, a happy belated Easter, Doc. Thank you so much, and a very good morning to you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to our viewers, depending on where they're tuned in today.
Thank you very much. Across down in the CBD, Nairobi, good morning, Paul Onyango. We can't hear you, Onyango.
Good morning, Dr. viewers at large, and the fellow panelists.
How was your Easter?
It was fine.
Enjoyed?
Yes, yes.
We have driven out thieves from the temple, and therefore we expect no more thieves now in Kenya, do we?
Of course, God has heard our prayer.
Okay, thank you very much. Jesus has resurrected. Good morning, our new guest, our new correspondent from Karua Ndani. Is that the place?
No, Kawasukari.
Kawasukari, there is Kawandani, Kawasukari. Now I know it. Kawasukari, Gibson, Gichuru. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Osama.
Yes, thank you very much. You studied journalism.
Yes.
What do you think is wrong with this headline? Let me start with you. This headline here. What's wrong with this? You see the comment?
Yeah, do they stand a deputy chance?
Yes, the Daily Nation. What do you think is wrong with it? Make your comments without reservations. Don't be shy. Nobody is going to laugh at you, whatever comments you make. I want you to learn to be screen free and talk. Yes.
I think, first of all, for me, what I can say, it's too early for us to start thinking about a deputy president, yet we haven't decided on who to elect first.
We haven't gone through nominations yet.
Yeah, we haven't. So for me, I think it's a bit too early.
Okay, thank you very much. You got it right. You were just like that. It is. As simple as that. Back to you, Miriam, in the headquarters of Punchline Africa in Nairobi. Thank you very much. The weather is fantastic. It's hot. I don't know how you people feel, but it's really hot everywhere you go. There's heat. So heat, both economy, heat, both politics, heat, social. I don't know how you think about this. Everything is hot in Kenya. Do you remember that song, hot? So, Kinapale, everybody is not steady. Everybody is on the move. What is going to happen? 3 months to elections, Miriam, surely. We still have a hiccup of IEBC telling us some things and like this, like that. We still have hiccups of whom should we elect and not elect. But for me, Miriam, what took my day as I depart before I leave the scene for you, what took my day is one thing very, very crucial. And that is that 24-year-old lady, Toto. I think I don't support UDA, but I support such courageous women. What do you think? Courageous young girl who looks You know she can tell her mind. By the way, they locked her out of, don't come into our home of dynasty. Stay out of the gate. Can you see how the same prick that you refused the entry into the eating theater of corruption was able to be the same holding the flag? And I'm telling you, that lady is not going to forgive some people. Let her win that seat, come to parliament. That lady will one day take Kenya by storm. That's all my contribution. That is what made me happy the whole weekend, despite all the difficulties. And I also happy that some people in UDA collapsed, like Katero, Charles Katero, Kostani Caleb. They ate my money. So some of them is good. They don't come here where money is. Thank you. That is up to you. Back to you, Miriam.
All right, thank you so much for that. So I'll take us through quickly the headlines this morning, and then we shall continue with that, some of the conversation that has started. And on the front page of the Daily Nation, do they stand a DP chance? And Waiguru, Martha, Karua, the two antagonists from Kirinyaga County who took their political battles to the region's apex court in Arusha are once again squaring it out, this time for the deputy presidency. One is running on a reformist and second liberation platform, the other on a development and social welfare card. Between them, Kenya stands perhaps the best chance yet to have its first female deputy president. But do they stand any chance in Kenya Kwanza and Azimio respectively? That story is on page 4 and 5. And just beside that, Kenyans rule in Boston. Kenya's Paris Kipchirchir celebrates after winning the elite women's Boston Marathon race in Boston, Massachusetts yesterday, while inset her compatriot Evans Chebet breaks the ribbon to win the men's race. Kipchirchir clocked 2 hours, 21 minutes and 1 second, and Chebet 2 hours, 6 minutes and 51 seconds. The second and third places in the men's race went to Lawrence Cherono and Benson Kipruto, and a very hearty congratulations to those Kenyans continuing to lift our flag very high up there. Raila asks Nyanza to vote 6 The story is on page 6, and teachers reveal extent of moral rot in schools. You'll find that on page 2 and 3. The Standard newspaper, Ngilu to Raila, pick Karua for running mate. The story is on page 5. Shock for women who wanted her in-law dead. That is on page 3. Russia turns to own social media over sanctions. That is on page 29. Salaried cooperative bank customers borrow 164 million Kenya shillings daily. That is on page 25. Change law on discipline, says teachers lobby. That is on page 11. And on the Star newspaper, the main headline, Musalia to land finance top job in Ruto's cabinet. Ford Kenya's Wetangula to succeed our Lusaka as Senate Speaker. That is on page 6. Marsabit locals get food aid as drought worsens. That is the main pictorial there of women carrying relief food, and they walk past the helicopter that took Safaricom CEO Peter Ndegwa to Marsabit on a food distribution mission. And Kipchirchir Chebet rule Boston raise. That is on page 32. Raila directs Nyanza to vote ODM 6 That is on page 7. Principals want input in junior high curriculum. That is on page 9. And hope and despair for family of man who disappeared in Kitengela. That is on page 3. So that is what we have on the leading newspapers this morning. So perhaps we start with the headline on the Star newspaper, Musalia to land finance top job in Ruto's cabinet. And of course, Ford Kenya leader Moses Wetangula to take over from Ken Lusaka. So somehow they're beginning to posture for positions there. I don't know, Musalia Mudavadi Doc was a Minister of Finance in a previous year in another government, and judging from the record that he had holding that ministerial post, would it be a good idea, judging from his performance, for him to be given this docket?
Oh, thank you very much, Miriam, for that question. We want to welcome Gladwell Kiragu. Today we have seen your face, madam. We have been wondering where you had disappeared. Thank you very much for coming to our show this morning. Jabani Karanja from Nanyuki. My brother, how are you? I've not seen your face for a long time. Can I see your face? Today we have a full house here. How are you, Jabani Karanja?
I'm fine, Dr. David Matsanga. I'm working on my internet. Within minutes, you'll see my face. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Keep the fort and keep fighting until we get the truth. The truth is about to come out anyway. Graduate Kiragu. How? Good morning.
A very good morning to you, Doc.
Yes, at last you have shown yourself. That's what we want. And so that Miriam can see fire questions when he sees, other than that hiding of the audio. Thank you very much. Miriam, the question you asked. 50% of what? Government, which government? Are there no people who also want votes in that government? When you say 50% is for Mudavadi, what about the other parties?
No, 50% for UDA, but Mudavadi will get the finance top job.
Which finance? Allah. You know, the biggest problem with us lawyers is that either we have eaten a lot of chicken and we forget, we run away from things like chicken. This thing is not there. 50% of Ruto takes 50% of UDA, then the rest. So what are you talking? He will bring his relatives. Haven't you seen Kihika, Susan Kihika crying? Last week I wrote an article begging her that to open up your eyes. I used to be with your father on the picketing line, fighting Moi on Mwakenya basis. I was the member of that Mwakenya group in Europe, and we used to be with Kihika. Why are you wasting your time there, my daughter? Now she's crying. She said, this one, you can't reach the boss. If you cannot reach the boss now, what about when he reaches State House? Will you reach him? Will you see him? Will you see him? Sudi will slap you every minute. Farouk Kibet will slap you. Farouk slaps these women. He beats them up. There are about 4 women who have cried of beatings silently, including Maina, the Secretary General of the party. You know, you can't have a president who has people like that and then you give him more powers. It is sorry. So Mudavadi is actually having a very big problem. If you are going to give Mudavadi the other 50% and the Minister of Finance, this is just to tell a lie. And Miriam, can I drop the bad bombshell, the news? Let me tell you, no lawyer is going to vote. We are talking of this vote apathy here in the mountain. There is going to be real voter apathy if Mudavadi is not on the running mate ticket. You will see. You will see. Don't please them with finance. Finance them. Are you going to steal the whole money for the country? That is what Ruto has done. He has now, his finance is very good. Apple, Pesa, Zico. You know they are used to tenders. You people who grew up without knowing the Moi regime. Some of us who were here from 1982, we have been around this place, 78, 82, 81, 85. We have come to Kenya. 85 I was in Kenya. I know how it is. If you have men like Kibet, Farouk, you are dead. You will be arrested in the streets of Nairobi. You will see some men who claiming to be intelligence officers walking with pistols in town. I'm telling you. I have one whom I always meet on Kenyatta Avenue who arrested me in 1986. I'm telling you. So when I meet with him, he said, please don't tell people. There's one day I met him in Intercontinental and I told him, you remember what you did to me? Where are you now? Oh, you just, doctor, you give me money for my children. I said, I will give you. But he arrested me and took me. They will all come here in this town. Town itakuwa small. So I am just giving you that. Mudavadi and his campaign. they will not get it. Already the mountain is gone. There are so many meetings taking place in the mountain. I tell you now, frankly, they are not happy. They have seen where the danger is. They were told that this UDA was a very good vehicle. They have discovered is an empty shell. So there you are. Kiragu will tell you, and Gichuru will tell you. For us and Onyango, we shall tell the other side of the story. Javani Karanja will tell you that people in the mountain have started doing their thing differently. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Now, the Deputy President, William Ruto, has reportedly made up his mind to name his running mate from Mount Kenya. According to several people close to the DP, the UDA leader is understood to have informed ANC boss Musalia Mudavadi and Ford Kenya leader Moses Wetangula of his decision a few weeks ago. Mudavadi will instead be named finance minister, while Wetangula will take over as Senate Speaker. Wetangula, a lawyer, will succeed his tribesman Ken Lusaka, who is fighting to become Bungoma governor again. Mudavadi and Wetangula will also get 30% of Ruto's government, while 20% will be shared among other small parties under the Kenya Kwanza alliance. And Mudavadi's party has been agitating for the naming of their leader as their running mate, but Ruto has decided that he will instead settle for someone from either Upper Eastern or Central Kenya. The DP has told the two that he cannot afford to lose a single vote from Mount Kenya, hence his decision to pick his number two from the region. Gibson Gishuru, the idea of Musalia Mudavadi being considered for the treasury, for the finance ministry, and also Wetangula taking on the speaker, and how the arithmetics there is playing. Of course, UDA will take 50% of that government, and Musalia and Wetangula will share, I think, 30%. The other 20% will go to other smaller parties. What do you make of that?
Oh, I can't really say anything as of now.
Sorry?
I can't say, I don't have anything to comment.
Okay. All right. So I'll just move on to Paul then. Paul?
Yes.
Yeah, the same question. Okay. Did you hear my question to Gibson earlier?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, my take is this. According to the way Deputy President has been playing his politics, I think from what we saw over the nomination exercise that was done, especially Mount Kenya area, he has come to realize that things are not according to the expectation. So for him, he has said he cannot afford to lose the vote in Mount Kenya. Given that his political calculation has been based on the way it was since 2013 until this moment. So he's bagging his political vote, Mount Kenya area and Rift Valley. The rest of the country is just a top-up. So given that he's foreseeing something today that there could be voter apathy, given that Mount Kenya, in the next phase, it appears that they might not be at the top seat. So probably the danger of voter apathy is what he's curing now by merely proposing that he might have a running mate from Central Kenya or the Upper Eastern. He's only securing the vote, but still, if he cannot work hard, there are certain things that he assumed, like other regional blocks. He did not make good friends with other people. So for him to make a very good stab at the presidency, he must work hard towards enticing the Mount Kenya region by proposing or choosing a running mate from the area. Without that, this election will lose badly.
All right, thank you so much. And of course, one of the reasons why Musalia Mudavadi said he was leaving NASA, rather the union he had with Raila Odinga, was because his chances of getting the deputy presidency seat was slim. He said it was that or nothing else. And so because that was not viable, he left. And so he joined Deputy President William Ruto. And perhaps his supporters banked on that hope. But now that might not really happen. So will that affect perhaps the translation of the votes from his supporters in the Western Kenya region and how they will vote for the deputy president, if at all there are others who are thinking of doing the same? And that is something that Dr. Matsanga already has talked about there, Gladwell Kiragu. Will that affect the vote translation?
Okay, thank you so much, Miriam. And I'll start by saying the reason as to why many of these politicians are losing out is something we call greed for power. You know, Musalia left NASA because the chances for him to become a deputy president was so narrow. And so he decided to join the deputy president, thinking that he'll get a slot in the position of maybe being a running mate deputy president. But as we can see, it's also not happening. And another thing, the same way the deputy president betrayed the president, the same way he will do to the two. You know, I mean, we know how the same thing, Ruto has been doing his things. He's actually not even stated whatever he's doing, and this is shown by the nominations that we just did currently. So many people were so embarrassed, and also they had so much hopes in him. But what happened? People are crying, the likes of Susan Kehika, the likes of Njogu Njoroge, because they really believed in him. And another thing, we saw Kalonzo also saying that if the deputy president really wants a running mate, he's a Kikuyu. He's also a Kikuyu. So what we're saying also the deputy president doing, will create chaos with his words of statement, with what he's saying. He needs to be so cautious with whatever he's saying, because at the end of it all and wherever we are, the deputy president, the way he's doing his tactics, it will just bring us back chaos. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. So with Musalia Mudavadi, can he also stick to one lane, because he lost so much running for that one goal what he could get. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. And as I bring in Jevan Karanja, I'll turn into this other, headline on the Daily Nation that is closely related to what we are talking about, and that is Waiguru and Martha Karua as possible, running mates that are being flouted there. And also the stand-in is Ngilu to Raila P. Karua for running mate. And as I was watching the women meet yesterday who were supporting Raila Odinga, and Ngilu was leading the brigade in saying, you know what, Martha Karua suits that position very well. It's about time we had a Kenyan woman as a deputy president, but also others looked at it as if she was just trying to, sneer Kalonzo Musyoka, who we know has been perhaps propping himself to take on that position. I don't know, what is your thought, Jevan?
Yeah, thank you very much, Miriam. And I'll start with the area question about Musalia Mudavadi and Wetangula, and whether William Ruto will settle for them as their possible running mate.
No, he's already they're out of the equation. He said he cannot afford to lose the votes in Mount Kenya, so he'll settle for a deputy person from the Mount Kenya region. So they're out of the equation, but they will get 30% of the government, and they will divide within themselves.
Yeah, that is what the newspaper is saying. But when Musalia Mudavadi and Wetangula were joining William Ruto,
yes,
they hoped maybe they will be deputy president. But from the investment, the political investment that William Ruto has made in Mount Kenya, and the inroads and the friendship that he has already made in Mount Kenya region, I think that is why he settled for getting a running mate from Mount Kenya region. I think he hopes if Mount Kenya region will support him, and this region has a vast votes, then it will be an added advantage on his side. But it's something that time will prove whether he has the support. But if he needs to be to get that person from Mount Kenya region, Miriam, I know there are different camps that have fronted different people. When you go to Mount Kenya East, they have fronted Kithure Kindiki. When you come to the Central Kenya, they have Rigathi Gachagua and the likes. Therefore, whoever William Ruto takes for running mate, there are some people who will feel irritated. There are some people who will resist. And from what we saw in UDA primaries, that is exactly a replica of what we'll see when William Ruto will name his running mate, because the people in his camp have not really settled for that one person who will champion for that cause. And when you look at the people in Mount Kenya region who are possible deputy president of William Ruto, they don't qualify to be national leaders. When you look at Rigathi Gachagua, when you look at the likes of Dedi Nyoro, when you look at Kithure Kindiki, these are people who cannot bring anything on the side of William Ruto. Therefore, I think William Ruto will just gabble with Mount Kenya region, maybe hoping that there are some people who will follow him because he has a running mate. Whether it will bring votes or not, that is for the voters to decide. On the issue of William, the Azimio and Raila Amolo Odinga, I think Charity Ngilu yesterday was the one who was championing for Mother Karua. And for a fact, we know the Kamba nation politics. We know the bitter blood between Kalonzo Musyoka and Charity Ngilu. And I think Charity Ngilu was doing that just to provoke Kalonzo Musyoka and to tell Kalonzo Musyoka, shut up. We have other leaders who can fill that position. You're not the only person who can deputize Raila Amolo Odinga. I think that was just a direct answer to Kalonzo Musyoka, who have been saying that he's the de facto running mate to Raila Amolo Odinga. But William, when you look at it critically, Mother Karua is a good leader. Kalonzo Musyoka is a good leader also. Also, the likes of Peter Munya and Peter Kenneth, they are good leaders, but I think Raila Amolo Odinga needs to get that leader who will attract votes across the region, a leader who has a national outlook, and he should not gabble. And I think this time round, whether the deputy of Raila Amolo Odinga comes from Mount Kenya region, that will not be impacted.
So does Martha Karua fit in this description of what Raila Odinga should look for you? Does she fit that bill?
Yeah, she fits well.
You're not
but
sure?
I think this time round,
Okay.
my point is, Raila Amolo Odinga should not gabble with Mount Kenya region,
Okay.
because he has been going on the ballot without their support, and he is not very sure whether picking Mother Karua or Peter Munya will translate to votes on his side from the mountain region. I think he should go with the person that he is used to. And I'm not championing for Kalonzo Musyoka, but Raila Amolo Odinga is not the right person to gabble with Mount Kenya region. He better gabble with the other regions that have been supporting him, and he is sure of his support, rather than Mount Kenya region, where if he picks a running mate from Mount Kenya region, Deputy President William Ruto will do the same. He'll pick a running mate from Mount Kenya region, and he'll neutralize the effects of Raila Amolo Odinga and his running mate. I think Raila Amolo Odinga, time is right, and he needs to go with Kalonzo Musyoka or somebody else outside Mount Kenya region, and he'll have it early in the morning, because he has been getting 44% without Mount Kenya region. And Miriam, for us who support Raila Amolo Odinga from Mount Kenya region, the choice of the deputy president will not affect our support for Raila Amolo Odinga. That is the voice on the ground for us who support Azimio. The choice of running mate is immaterial to our support for Raila Amolo Odinga. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yes. I think Miriam, let me come in here and congratulate Javani Karanja. I am of the same view. Before, I don't know when
I was coming to you actually, and just to add on what the doc before you come in, what Jevan there is saying, that if Raila chooses somebody from Mount Kenya, Ruto already has made up his mind that he will get his deputy from Mount Kenya, and he has, I think from the story, 4 people to choose from: Rigathi Gachagua, Alice Wahome, Anne Waiguru, or Senator Kithure Kindiki. That is just some of the people he might consider, because he has made up his mind according to very credible and close sources to the DP that he shall be getting his running mate from Mount Kenya. So yes, Doc, you can come in now.
As Ngilu spoken,
he should have said he will pass. I don't know if he's ready to come in.
He's on running spree. Okay, he will speak later on. Now, for me, Javani Karanja, you have opened up something that has been nagging me. And I did not want to say, then they say Matanga is the one who brought this. For me, on this one, if I were Raila in his shoes, and I've said it elsewhere, I should sit down. This morning I was on 47 TV, I think Onyango listened. Sit down and watch it carefully. This mountain is already contaminated with so many potholes. If you are not careful, there could be a backlash in the mountain. You get my point? A very big backlash. Apathy, voter apathy. People might not come. Kiragu, the Kiragu is here. You can look at Kiragu and you think she's stupid. No. They are annoyed. You have insulted their son. They will only walk in that place to vote. Say, what has he said? Raila, okay, wacha tumpatie. Wanarudi. But most of these younger men, the group of Gibson, the younger generation, who have just taken the voting card for once, they might not even appear near the polling station until 9 a.m., 9 p.m. at night. Say, is the voting over? I'm telling you, you can get a shocker. So, Miriam, for me, I would go to a constituency. I would go to people who have already come. I agree with Karanja. People have already come. Look, the whole of Machakos, the whole of Makueni, the whole of Kitui, the governors have people. They were elected with huge numbers. And even the opposition there, that is opposing, for example, those who are opposing governors are opposing on Wiper Party. Still, they are yours. This Kalonzo might look like a watermelon here and there, but he's good. He's not bad. He has got, there are about 2 million votes there. I know Kiragu does not like to hear this, but I'm sorry. Yeah. Kiragu, you are not forgiving me on this, but please forgive me on this. That constituency is very, it's like a meta. Take it. Okay, then sort out that other mess of BBI. We give you the prime ministership. Javani Karanja is more comfortable with Peter Kenneth being a prime minister, isn't it? Yes. Peter Kenneth actually can administer government very well as a prime minister, so that Baba can rest and we fly with Matanga across the continent, the globe, in Malaysia, Singapore.
Yes, but Doc, assuming we would go with what Ngilu and other women were pushing for it, for Kenyans to have a first woman as a running mate, other than just Martha Karua being a woman, what else do you think she'll be bringing to the table as the deputy?
If you choose Martha Karua, Ruto is going to choose another woman. As Karanja told you, I'm telling you. And the most likely woman who can stand for with Ruto is a thief. So there are chances of being labeled a thief with the Waiguru Muizi. Kura machozi taku. It will fill river Nile. In fact, we shall increase the dam and the height of the dam a bit so that the water does not flow that way. Machozi taja. So he's also in catch-22. If you choose Martha Karua, you will choose Waiguru. But Martha Karua is a hardliner, is to businessmen in mountain Kenya who own properties where we sleep today. But Miriam, don't forget, these property owners have a say on their tenants. That's why in Nairobi, you have to be careful. Kuja pole pole Nairobi, because you can get a shocker. Martha Karua could harden their lives of accessing money. They are looking for someone who can give access. Both Martha Karua and Stephen Kalonzo, their records on fight against corruption is very clear. They also hate corruption. They fight it. They talk about it without reservations.
And also,
so the safest, yes.
When you think about and talk about Martha Karua, people say she's principled. She doesn't waver in decision making. So maybe that will balance the I'm not saying Baba does that. But I'm just saying,
She
maybe
can
that will balance the equation,
she
the kind
could
of
become a
qualities,
hardliner
the kind of leadership
very
qualities
difficult.
she'll bring in. Yeah, maybe we need that.
She can become I am not decampaigning her, but I'm giving opinion.
Yes.
For me,
Maybe we need somebody who will stand the ground. Yes.
Miriam, I'm looking for where we can get votes.
So she is not bringing votes with her.
She might, they might not come.
Okay.
I have given you the reasons why Mount Kenya might not come. You look at Kiragu. Have you seen the way Kiragu is looking at you and Javani Karanja has talked? And then Chichuru. They will not appear anywhere, these guys. Karanja will go, but Gibson might not turn up.
So Ngilu pushing for this yesterday, so she was the one leading the brigade. Was it just to get on the nerves of Kalonzo, or she really meant that Karua could actually be?
No, it is hatred for Kalonzo. Let's not transfer this hatred for Kalonzo from a local place of Kitui and bring it on a national stage.
Well, Kalonzo's son is going for the governorship.
No. Despite all the badness,
yes.
Kalonzo has also stuck with Raila Jamen.
Yes.
Let's talk the truth. You cannot divorce a wife twice. She'll come back, anakupiga tena, anakufungia ndani nje ya bedroom, unalala kwa sitting room twice. Neni unakuja tena anakufungia nje, unalala kwa sitting room. Second
so
time.
On merit,
Kalonzo.
Okay.
Amesimama na nani na baba for a long time, jamani. Many people did not like him.
Okay.
No.
Jamin, you wanted to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah. There's a question that you're asking, Doctor, that whether Mother Karua brings vote.
Yes. What will she be bringing?
He only brings the female arithmetic on the board.
Outside of her being a woman, what else is she bringing?
Nothing.
Nothing else apart from being a woman, because even the women of this country, for the longest time, they have not rallied behind a woman. Therefore, anybody anticipating that Mother Karua will attract women votes to Baba's side, that's just making an empty conclusion, because women don't follow women leaders. They listen to the men counterparts. Therefore, I don't think there is any votes that Mother Karua will bring on board. And Kalonzo Musyoka to that matter, and yesterday event, the person who invited people to that event is Charity Ngilu. And Charity Ngilu and Kalonzo Musyoka, we know for the longest time, they have been having fights in Ukambani politics. Therefore, Charity Ngilu was excited to answer Kalonzo Musyoka and saying that they support Mother Karua just to irritate Kalonzo Musyoka, because he feels if Kalonzo Musyoka exits the scenes from Azimio, maybe Charity Ngilu and Alfred Mutua will have an upper hand in Ukambani politics. I think this is Ukambani politics that's coming to national level. I think loyalty should be rewarded handsomely. And Kalonzo Musyoka has proven time and again that his support for Raila Odinga can't be questioned. This is Mother Karua who have been fighting the BBI the other day. This is Mother Karua who have been fighting President Uhuru Kenyatta a few days ago. Therefore, it will not be good to outshine Kalonzo Musyoka and give it to Mother Karua. We know what he has been standing for in the past 2 terms of President Uhuru Kenyatta. I think Kalonzo Musyoka is the right man, and Kalonzo Musyoka support extends to Mombasa, Taita Taveta, all the way to Western Kenya. He is a national leader, and
so in terms of numerical strength, he has more muscle compared to Martha Karua, compared to what she's likely to bring to the table.
He has more muscles, and in 2007, if it was not for Kalonzo Musyoka going all the way to the ballot, Raila Amolo Odinga could have outshined Kibaki with millions of votes. Therefore, Kalonzo Musyoka should not be ignored anywhere. Whichever camp he goes, that camp is likely to win this election. And we don't want to lose Kalonzo Musyoka to the sides of William Ruto, because William Ruto will have an upper hand. He must retain Kalonzo Musyoka, and whatever he makes demands, because he is not demanding to be the flag bearer, the other seats he can get. I think that's what Azimio should do to avoid all these crashes that we are
All
seeing
right,
in their camp.
thank you. Maybe it's these demands that he's been making since he joined Azimio that is irritating even somebody like Charity Ngilu, who feels she has been there from the get-go, and Kalonzo just joined the other day, and now he seems to be getting more attention than them. And not forgetting that his son is also running as the governor of Kitui, so challenging, Ngilu's position there. So that also could be a background from what we saw there yesterday. But, we're just saying, Gladwell, I saw you wanted to say something.
Yes. What I wanted to say, I kind of disagree with Javan. Reason being, we have a mentality and a terrible one whereby we only think that leadership is only meant for men. And another thing, having like somebody like Kalonzo Musyoka, to be honest, has been a watermelon for so long. And you, Javan, saying that were it not for Kalonzo Musyoka during the 2007, let us call a spade a spade. In 2007, we know Raila had won the election, but what happened? Let us talk the truth. Yes, Raila had won the election, but what happened? That's what caused the crashes. I mean, let us call a spade a spade. And what I'm saying, comparing, Kalonzo and Charity Ngilu. Mother Karua. Mother Karua has got more leadership skills more than Kalonzo. Kalonzo never makes up his mind. And actually, he recently even joined the Azimio. Somebody like Mother Karua, she just joined and she's not even claiming for any position. She just made up her mind that I want to be in the Azimio team. But Kalonzo is just here. And you can see from the statement she made the other day that if Raila wants a running mate who is in Mount Kenya, he is also a Kikuyu. That also shows the greed he has for power. And that is the same when I see Kalonzo, I see Ruto. The same way he just get the position and betray the deputy president, betray the president who will be Raila. Mm-hmm. So can we give a position? I would rather even say, let's give the position than to Peter Kenneth. Mm-hmm. Or somebody else, not Kalonzo Musyoka.
No. Hii leo tutamenyana hapa. I think we shall fight over this one. No, look, I agree with Javan Karanja 100%. And I would justify why. Kalonzo cannot be compared to Ruto. It is a distance between Mars and the Earth, between Venus and the Mars and the Sun and the Jupiter. Please, millions and millions of miles, they are apart. Two, look, we cannot gamble on this one. Some of us whose stakes are on Raila Amolo Odinga. Some of us who have already been given the notes that come 10th of August, we have to gamble very properly now. And we have to advise the president and tell the president the truth. Mr. President, on this one, I'm writing my statement. I don't want to preempt it here. It is coming in a few hours. I support a place that is going to deliver the votes without looking back. Hii vote ya Mount Kenya iko na shida. Tuambiane ukweli, iko na shida kubwa. Huyu mjamaa has poisoned this mountain. Kiragu might be talking like this, but Kiragu, down in your heart, you know there are so many places where things have turned very bad. That when you are eating your food and you mention Raila, they want to chase you. Am I wrong? When you mention Raila, they say we are Ruto. We are Ruto. So, we are not saying Raila cannot, the mountain will not work with Raila, but we are doing analysis. And maybe those leaders watching us can see our point. My point for Kalonzo is this. 3 governors are already inside Azimio. You have already got some votes. And you have a man in this counties who's placing a governor candidate against the 3. It's not another political party. whoever will win in the Makueni will be Wiper. I'm telling you. And whoever will win in Machakos, Wavinya, will be Wiper. Put your legs there and hands and head. Kitui will be NAK. But NAK is already in Azimio. So you don't lose much. Those who are going to vote NAK, because Makueni, the governor, is going. Mr. Mutua is going home. They are not coming back for re-election. The only governor coming back for re-election is
Charity.
NAK. So, if NAK is coming back for re-election, the people that Kalonzo's son will galvanize for to go and vote for governorship will also vote for Azimio. You get my point? They will not vote for Ruto. If the father is in Azimio, they will vote for Raila Odinga. So what did you lose there? The people voting for NAK, I have done analysis for already Chungwa House. Chungwa House, watch my lips. This vote is good. It's a rich state with many votes, but haki ya Mungu, tuambiane ukweli. Mnasikia Miriam? There are so many sour grapes there. Machungwa inanuka huko. I don't know what Swahili you can say. Kiragu, I told you to teach me Swahili, but instead you leave me to make more mistakes. Machungwa huko imeoza. Ziko so many rotten. Look, the governor of Meru says, vote for me, but on presidential candidate, vote the way you want. So what support is that now? I'm asking people, what support is that? In Kirinyaga, there is a woman who might actually turn tables on these two ladies. Ngirichi. Ngirichi says, I am not standing in any of this. She's independent. But she said she supports Raila. So what are you losing? What are you losing? The vote for Ngirichi will go for Raila first, then Ngirichi second. So for me, let me tell you, Kalonzo has been there as a wife, beaten so many times, but still comes back. I'm not saying he's a woman, no, but he's a, he goes, he comes, he goes, he comes. Tumemfungianga nje sana jameni, wacha tumuingize ndani leo, safari hii aende na mjamaa wakue kwa State House, wafanye biashara, aanze kutembea, aanze kujeusa polisi ya Kenya na kuuza sera za Kenya nje ya nchi. That is the best we can do for Kalonzo. On this one, Your Excellency President and Raila think the vote here is locked. Here is not yet locked. And that you could have vote apathy from Gichuru's zone. And looking at Gichuru himself quiet, he's very quiet. He might not. He will ask the question, where am I? Why am I coming to vote?
But also something else that perhaps Gladwell said there, in line with why she does not think that Kalonzo could make a great deputy president, is his nature of not being very decisive, as she referred to him there as a watermelon.
But Raila needs no medium before you go further. Raila needs such a man. You need a deputy president who is not decisive. If you have a deputy president who is decisive, like
I need to know that the my deputy president is decisive, because my life as a citizen of this country depends on it. I'm just.
I know you people are fronting the issue, the card of a woman.
No. I'm not there. I'm not really. It's not as people.
Women.
No. I'm not on that train.
No, it is better to have a deputy president you can call to order because he's not decisive. Than to have a deputy president you don't call in order.
But I'm not
when
on
he
the
is
I'm not on
indecisive.
the bandwagon for the I just want to know if Martha Karua should be. What are the merits that, you know? I just look at it for merit, but I'm not on the women bandwagon.
Disagree with you and tell you I've gone, I've resigned.
Which I think is somebody who has principles. He will not stand there and do what you see Deputy President do right now.
How long shall we do our job when we have to? When you resign
A
as the
hardliner.
President of Kenya, you know what
The
type
president
of work
just
we
appoints
have.
another one. Can you imagine if the Deputy President, William Ruto, would have resigned a long time ago? President Kenyatta would have a wonderful time. He would have appointed another one. Don't you think so?
And you don't know what crisis we could get.
Instead of just staying there and causing more problems. But anyway.
I know people. I know people like Martha Karua. I have no problem with Martha Karua, but I'm looking at the number of votes.
Yes, she'll bring to the table, which is not much
Yes,
compared to.
She might
Kalonzo.
not bring the votes to the
I
table.
agree with you totally.
And
And politics
one,
is about
believe me
numbers.
or not, Believe me or not, the ladies, including Kiruka, who are funding, actually wanting her.
She's
The
not
analysts, they convince me. Kiruka, I am not convinced yet.
Kiragu did not say really, she did not even point her finger at Martha. She was just dismissing. She had her reasons as to why she thought Kalonzo was not very good. So, Kiragu, perhaps maybe to understand you clearly, the fact that maybe Kalonzo has been indecisive in the past, how do you think that might affect his position as the deputy president? Is that your worry?
Okay, what I said initially, Doc, get my point. What I said, not necessarily for the Mother Karua to be the deputy president, but I said instead of I waking up to go make sure it is there, I'm voting for Kalonzo and with his behavior, Papa Pule. And then Doc, you say that you want somebody who is not decisive. What if he's just told in the morning, can you kill the president? Then if he's not decided, he will do it. So, we need somebody who is stable. And I said instead, if not Mother Karua, I would rather wake up and vote for Peter Kennedy.
Yeah,
somebody I know who has got his stance. Somebody who got his ground up. And like Kalonzo is never decided.
Okay, so he's proposing Peter Kenneth if her proposal is not even Martha, it's Peter.
It is better to have a man who is not decided than to have a man who is decided and does things his wrong way. So for me, I agree. No, I agree with Kalonzo deputizing Raila Omolo Odinga, because Raila Odinga will keep on reminding to this man to be decisive, but not a man who picks up a plane and goes to
So what you're saying, Doc, is somebody who can be persuaded, not necessarily.
Persuaded,
Okay.
yes.
Right.
A man like hardliner called William Samoye, Ruto of Sungoye, Sungoye, he has taken everything, eaten even in the name.
So would you consider
names.
also Martha Karua a hardliner?
Ameiba nails kutoka kwa SGR.
Doc, would you consider Martha Karua a hardliner?
Yes.
She is.
Yes,
Okay.
he's a headliner.
Paul, go ahead. We've not heard from you before we move on to something else. Would you like to add your voice to what you're talking about?
Yes, I agree with Daktari na Javan on their sentiments about Martha Karua and Kalonzo Musyoka. Okay, I think I can take you back to the memory line when Martha Karua was Minister for Justice in the Kibaki government. There was a disagreement within the government, and Martha Karua just decided to resign from the post. And from there on, he didn't agree with anything about that government until we went for election 2013. He didn't agree with Uhuru Kenyatta. From that time, the 2 terms Uhuru has served, he has never agreed with Uhuru Kenyatta. I think he has come late in the day to make his mind be known. Had it been that he had taken a path that was a bit persuasive, that could consolidate the mountain. And then another thing, in mountain region, there are so many vested interests that even if you come from the region, you must serve the interest of the business community, which Martha Karua, in her political career, I don't think she has ever done anything about that. So it is quite persuasive for any running mate that would add value not only where he or she comes from, but to the entire country. But this subject, if we look it down the lane, we need to look at it with a lot of soberness. The only thing people need to do is just have a sober discussion. People agree they should know where we are and where we want to go to, such that whatever we'll arrive at will give us the results that we desire. That is my take.
All right. Thank you.
And if I can add something.
Oh, go ahead.
In both the elections in 2003 and 2007, Raila almost won the elections without getting any support from Mount Kenya region. So for me, I don't think he doesn't necessarily need the votes from Mount Kenya, as much as it does count. To almost a third of the total votes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, Javan, yes.
Yeah, Miriam, can I say something?
Go ahead, Javan.
I think the issue here is seeing Raila Amolo Odinga getting to State House. The rest of things
can be sorted there.
We can discuss the rest of the things after getting Raila to State House.
Exactly.
We are looking for a deputy president
yes.
who will help Raila Odinga become the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya. And that person, Miriam, is none other than Kalonzo Musyoka or any other person. As we speak, Kalonzo Musyoka have said it. If they get to power, he will start campaigning for his 2027 presidential bid immediately. We have no problem with that. Our point is seeing Raila Amolo Odinga in the State House. Kalonzo Musyoka, whether he will be given some mandate by Raila Amolo Odinga, whether he will be a weak deputy president, that to us is immaterial, because the seat of deputy president is not so significant in any ruling government, because you act from what the president directs you to do. If president fails to give you a job to do, then you remain idling. Therefore, this seat of deputy president, it only helps the presidential candidate to get to State House. From there, everything else settles. I think even as he has have some work to do and has some responsibility meaningful to the development of this country, rather than the deputy president. There's no job for the deputy president apart from propelling the presidential candidate to State House. That is why I feel Kalonzo Musyoka is the best person to propel Raila Odinga to State House. Then from there, the other seats, they can subdivide among themselves. And I think that is the case. And Kalonzo Musyoka and Mother Karua, they can have something in the next government. Okay. But for now, is seeing Raila Amolo Odinga getting to State House. Failure to which William Ruto will get to State House, and Kalonzo Musyoka and Mother Karua, they lose all those possessions that they are trying to scrabble at this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
I think I've picked one point. Let me tell Karanja that it is the post of a deputy president is a compliance post.
Principal assistant to the president. But until Ruto came in and that changed,
it is compliance in the Electoral Act. It's for compliance.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what Karanja has said is correct.
But also, though, they do have a very crucial role in terms of helping the president to run the government, except for, I think the Ruto case is very unique.
That is exactly what I'm saying.
That is very unique, yes.
It's for compliance.
Outside of just meeting the formalities.
By the Constitution, it says don't go this way. Yeah. You go. If you don't go this way, you wait for the president. State of compliance. That is it. So what Karanja is saying is correct. Let's get the money in State House first. Yeah. We can't lose then the battle down here because of Martha and Kiragu. They want us to take Martha or Peter Kenneth, but who also, might not.
But also,
Peter Kenneth might be very popular in the mountain, but he might not be popular across the board.
But also, just bringing in the votes and to help, the person ascend to power. Also, just the lessons perhaps we've learned through the Jubilee government of President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy. We also need a president and a deputy president who can actually work together for the better good of Kenyans and not see the wrangles that we've seen. So a good working relation is also very important, I think.
You are right. But Kalonzo and Raila have worked together.
Well.
So two marriages, surely. Why have you denied this man the third time? Give him. Okay. No, let's be very honest. A wife goes away. Then the wife comes back. And says, please, I love you so much. Why don't you give him that thing, that love, and say, this time, let's try to see whether we can make up and our love goes through the borders. Yes.
So are we likely to see...
I'm persuading Kiragu.
Doc, so are we likely to see Ngilu, continue with her push to have a woman to have particularly Martha Karua as the deputy?
That can be a woman. If
are we likely to see her continuing with this narrative?
What about making Martha Karua a prime minister?
Wow. In the constitution we're working with right now?
No, well, we shall. If Raila wins the first 100 days, took on a BBI, we make her a prime minister. But for now, ours is to go with Kalonzo to petition Raila Amolo Odinga. If you cancel Kalonzo here, I will start packing my goods. Because me, I am on the ready list of Ruto. I don't want me to be found here. He has told me. Himself has sent people to say, namvuruga lakini hakuna tabu. Kama mtu anakuambia namna hivyo. I have not told you many things, Miriam, which I go through threats. But now, let's put Raila Amolo Odinga first. Then Martha Karua can become your powerful prime minister, like the prime minister in Uganda. Museveni is seated, and this woman is the one fighting in the parliament with people. Yes. Yes. What about that? I told you, what about that? That the prime minister come from the woman from Kikuyu land. Why are you looking for the vice? You let's have a prime minister coming in the BBI post-election. Raila government will have a female prime minister. But for now, to pass the hand of William Samoye Singoye Chicken Sarah of Sungoi, we must have Kalonzo. We partnered up with Raila wa Malize Mutui Arudi Sungoi.
Okay.
What about that?
All right. So, Doc,
after all, Raila has been doing this thing as Gichuru has said. Raila has been doing this thing with getting no vote from here, and he has been actually having 67 million votes. Let him consolidate on with that and don't lose Ukambani. Already Raila has lost the West.
But Doc, the West, with how things are going in Western Kenya and the positions that now Musalia, Mudavadi and Wetangula are being given, they're not, and neither of them is getting the deputy presidency, so that might actually perhaps affect the voting there for DP.
Yes, but then that is speculation. We might not. They might. Let's have this first. The 2 million votes are the ones that I am salivating for. My saliva is for on this Ukambani. They will give us about 1.1 million there. To add on Baba, which Baba has collected in Nyanza, huko chini. Baba has collected in Kilifi, Mombasa, Kwale. Baba has collected in Nakuru. Don't forget, even in the Rift Valley, Eldoret, Baba collect Trans Nzoia, Turkana. Don't forget, in the northeastern, Baba collecting goods zake. Add together atakuwa State House. Lakini mnaleta hii mambo ya nani? Si ndio mnaleta hii mambo ya Martha Karua nini? Mambo ya woman, she can be a woman prime minister.
All right. Now, before we end the show, because I think we need to end the show, it's about 23 minutes past noon here in Nairobi. A very good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for watching extended version of Good Morning Africa. There's a matter here that I think is very important, Doc, because it's something that we've been talking about, the kind of indiscipline we've been seeing in schools, and the head teachers were meeting in Mombasa, and they want the government to formulate rules anchored in law to address indiscipline in schools. And the Kenya Secondary Schools Heads Association chairman, Kahi Ndimuli, yesterday said currently there is no law that makes students accountable for their actions. Students are not accountable for whatever they do in school. They break up things, they ban schools and later walk free because we have no law which makes them responsible for their deeds, said Mr. Ndimuli. He added the Children's Act should be synchronized with school guidelines dealing with students in discipline to ensure that the punishment given to such students is guided by the law. He said in most cases the Children's Act has been used to punish teachers when found on the wrong, but children go scot-free. Mr. Ndimuli asked parents to contribute ideas in helping teachers address indiscipline in schools. So we've been seeing the rise of insecurity in this country. That has been a matter of national concern. But apparently now we're learning there are no laws to govern this a few rowdy students in these schools, and so they get to do whatever they do with impunity, as we've seen play out in the past, because they know there's no law that could bring them to account. So they're saying, parents, give us ideas on how to deal with this. So maybe we could contribute to ideas on how, they could deal with these cases in our schools, Doc.
The discipline, when we grew up, we are taught what we call domestic science. Time has come for the Kiragus to go back for domestic science. And I'm going to be honest with the Kiragu that Miriam, I'm sorry to be very, let's kill the other topic of diplomatic leaks. We shall deal with it later. Miriam, women of these days, you disappoint. Men of these days, you disappoint. And I want to speak this when Javan Karanja is listening. Miriam and Jichuru, you are listening, you are younger people and Paul on this panel. There are some women who don't even know how to cook. I'm very shocked. Very, very shocked. They don't know how to cook. They cannot make rice. This wali anakuleta kwa meza. Miriam, you have brought a very good discipline. Now, the type of children we have, where does this discipline of a woman not knowing how to cook comes from? Our curriculum has been changed to a curriculum of vote hunters instead of vote makers. Kilaku, don't go away. Because I don't know why you are laughing, because I am telling the truth. You go and get a very beautiful lady in town with a high flyer, with a Range Rover. Lakini, mwambia mwachie nyumba. Unasema, I'm just going down, I want a cup of tea. Ajui hata to switch on even the kettle. He can't make a cup of tea. So what type of education is this? Akonama degree, mingi, but he has not known how to cook. Women rely on workers. The current level of people rely on house helps. Anasema nini huyu atafanya. Anasema nini huyu atafanya. That's the behavior that has been transferred to schools. If you have parents who don't know how to even check on your child whether the uniform has been ironed or not, how will they know? How did the child behave in school? So I totally agree with the suggestion that the new laws, new bill, new act must be brought to punish people who carry their home behavior and take it to school, to ban schools. Because at the moment, the Social Act, Social Services Act of of 1980, 89 of UK is the one that they have the Kenyan social service plucked from there and brought here. In the UK, we still have services that come around your house. I don't know how many of you have heard of a person in the village, in Nanyuki, in Kawandani, in Kawa Sukari, in Jifirai, in Juja, in any place in Nairobi, in Kibera, in Kawangware. I don't know whether you have heard of a social worker knocking your door or probation officer saying, hello, yesterday we had a lot of noise here. There are people supposed to check on that, environmental officers. You know the noise kill us. You might be thinking that there is COVID killing you when it is the noise of nightclubs. Do you know that most of you who stay near those restaurant bars where people drink up to 4 a.m. You wake up when you cannot go to work, you have lost some energy. You have got cancer because of the noise. If the noise pollution is one of the worst character, but why is it that we don't have social workers coming to tell us, or environmental officers coming, NEMA coming to stop that noise? We have bad manners. And those bad manners emanate from bad school. And those bad schools are banned because of bad behavior from the parents at home and bad behavior from us, the schooling curriculum. So for me, I agree 100% that schools must start having new rules, punishing the people who ban a school. Not only the school, the whole of Kenya needs a new law. You find you are walking on the streets on Kenyatta Avenue, and the gentleman well dressed, he does, hey! Miriam, have you heard what I've said? He does on the streets. Is that a behavior? And these guys, when you tell them, he says, where? Who are you? Where? You are driving on a road very nicely. These children get the behavior from us. And then the matatu man comes and says, hello, and there's a guy in place. Then the child is in, you know, the people who are in the car are children you are taking to school. What will that child go to school to do? He will also dodge the teacher. The teacher comes to school, he dodges, because he has seen how parents behave on their way to school when they are being taken to school. So it is true that the laws come and bring down people. Our behaviors are very bad. They have become archaic. They have become very dangerous for society. People are killing. A man killed people in Kiambu, his parents, plus his sisters. A younger man, you remember that one, Kiragu?
In Kiambu.
In Kiambu last year. Was it Kiambu? Yes. He killed the father, the mother, the sister. He did not cousins, the real mother. Because he wants to take over the house, the property. Why don't you just ask the father that you give me this thing before you die quickly and I want to use it? The father will surrender. Why do you go and kill the father, the mother, the brothers? All of them were locked up in a house and the man went on killing all of them. So these are the behaviors. If we don't tame them by law, we are going to produce people who can kill people in the houses, lock them and set fire. They are watching these films where houses are set on fire by one box of matches after petrol being put. Do we have the laws? No. Some of us have given our children remote controls, these ones here. Me, my child does not govern me on my TV, which I bought with hard work. haki ya Mungu unatoka unatafuta nyumba yako, haki ya Mungu. I'm swearing before you, unatoka Miriam, unatoka kwenda tafuta yako. You cannot control me with my remote which I worked hard. Umesikia Miriam? You know, you find some parents, and Miriam, it's good you bring, these are the topics at the end tail of our hectic politics. These are the topics we want, Kiragu, isn't it? Let's look at this behavior. Unawachia na mtoto remote ana control wewe. Wewe ndio ulinunua. You know where the money comes from. Wapi? God not haki ya Mungu, not on Matagas. No. Even if you hate me. But I cannot give you my remote to control me. As if I'm Iyo wapi? No. But there are parents here who teach their children very bad manners. So the children get the manners and take them to school, to bad schools. Therefore, let the law be made in the parliament to punish those. Then you come and see the child in custody. Ulipe bail because unamwachia remote control. Ingia, Fred, when you finish watching TV, switch off, please, and switch off the lights. Me, Matanga. Kwa nyumba yangu, do you pay rent for me? No, you pay rent for me. Ala, kwenda. You pay rent for me? Ni kuachia remote.
But now the Ministry of Education is asking parents to help in creating these laws that will help in addressing the issue of indiscipline. If some of these parents do not even discipline these children at all.
If the parents, if the parents themselves are indisciplined, yes. How do they teach the children?
So what kind of suggestions and what should be done here to address the issue of indiscipline?
Let other people contribute. Kiragu,
yes,
you can contribute. For me, I know the problem. The danger is already there. We are growing up zombies. Zombies in our houses. They are zombies. They are not children anymore. You know you have.
Glado, please, could you mute your device when you're not talking? Yeah.
Okay. You have come with Miriam lastly. You have come with your guests, and you find your child seated in your sofa set. The guests have come. He is busy on TV. He doesn't even stand up from the sofa set. And you have gone the 3 chairs. Hey, I have gone to some people's houses. I said, me, David. Oh, Brian. Have you said hello to the... No way!
Please,
no!
Please, Baba, say hello to the guest.
Have you seen this? Are you affected by this?
Mind-blowing. It's
Brian, Baba, can you say hello to the guest? No!
Please,
no! My child,
right. But now, Doc,
she stands up the African way, the good Ugandan manners, greet the visitors in a nice way, then they disappear.
Yes.
Out to your bedroom.
Go to your bedroom or find something else to do. True. That is true.
I can see the children is laughing, but that is me.
That is
you disappear to the bedroom, nimalize na mgeni, utarudi baadaye.
Yes.
Lakini wewe ukaa hapo, unaendelea na kativi, tuko na kamoja, uendelee. You even laugh when I'm making points with my guest, maybe making a deal which is going to bring rent.
No, they even make you talk quietly because you're interfering with what they're watching. But
Kiragu, I'm correct.
I've seen it at my friend's house.
He's doing like this.
Like,
Dad,
could you, yeah.
You tell me that shoot. Kiragu, no.
But now,
No.
these parents who allow this kind of indiscipline in the homes are the same parents the Ministry of Education seeks to have. Not all parents are like that, but majority, Doc. We've seen parenting in this country has changed. How we were parented has changed. So, Kirag, I don't know what could be some of the suggestions.
Let me start by saying that I'm brought up in a background whereby my mom is a teacher. And you talking about teachers, I understand the pain because I've seen the teachers, the struggles they go through and the struggles they get teaching. One thing with the current generation, if you have observed, you can't be the child. Like for instance, you've got a neighbor and the neighbor's child abuses another one. And you being a neighbor who is frustrated by the source of insults, that child, a young child. But what happens with that parent? The parent couldn't see what the child has done instead of just coming banging at your door, creating a war between you that you have beaten his child. Another thing, a docu stroke, like the story in last year, the Waroi guy, the one who eliminated his whole family. He said that what he did, he just watched a movie. And by the way, I had to watch the movie because I had to understand what triggered this young boy to kill and destroy people out his family. And he said the movie was called Killing Eve. And yes, when you can watch such a movie, you get so much. So another thing, we've allowed even our kids to control us. I got a nephew when I visited, a cousin when I visited their home, a 3-year-old got a tablet, iPhone, and the laptop, also the MacBook. You can imagine a 3-year-old kid and you're visiting and she's like, Auntie ongea pole pole. You see? And the mother's just standing there. Like now, a 3-year-old is telling you, you're making noise, you're distracting a program, and the mother is very much okay. The dad is okay. You see the kind of birthdays these parents make for these young kids. A 3-year-old birthday is doing a bigger birthday more than a 32-year-old adult. The parent is very much okay with it. The kind of music you play in the house. The kids nowadays, if you can remember, Miriam, there was I think it was last year, the Sailors. This song, Wamlambez. Every child knew the song. And if you can listen to the content of such music, it's not appealing at all. It's not a good one. But every child knew the content, and it was a national anthem even to the kids. Another thing with about the teachers, teachers, they have reached a point they have given up. Yes, you are teaching, and whereby the teachers are at the point they are in, they just teach, but it's up to your parents. You rectify your child's behavior because the teachers are fed up. I've said I've been brought up with a background where my mom is a teacher, but you punish a child, you're done. The parent will be here early in the morning, even before you, creating chaos in the whole school. You beat his child. For example, let us take a case. I don't know if Miriam you're aware of it. CCM Gatanga, whereby Abby was killed, and everybody currently is protesting that CCM Gatanga is not a good school. And everybody is blaming the administration. Yes, we're blaming the administration. But what caused Abby's death? According to the story, it is because Abby went to school with the culprits, and Form 4 noticed and bullied the Form 1 girl. And after he bullied the Form 1 girl, he beat him till he died. She died. But what happened with the school management too? They didn't communicate. So you're finding even the cover-up in these schools. They are too much. I can't remember if it is Mohoho or Njiri. They just went and told the principal, we are striking and we'll be back to school when we want. Just imagine a 17, 16-year-old girl. Boy, somebody you've seen grown up insulting you, and there's nothing you can do because the parents will be there up in the morning. Protesting that you've beaten up the child, and Hachapangui is never beaten. So I think also the government need to come out. They should not even include the parents in the decision making, because these parents are also the ones who create chaos in these schools. And again, Miriam, we say, can you train a child from the beginning? And the way you train him defines his future. Punishing that child begins when that child is born. You can't say you're going to discipline an 18-year-old child. From where? He can't even listen to you. Yes, and I've seen people and they're beating each other. You're like, this is my child. I've seen so many people in the police station. My son beat me. He's 21-year-old. Yeah. He came home drunk, and you asked as a parent, and the son started up the chaos. So you can imagine the pain also these parents feel, and it is their fault too. Yes. So I think the government should come up with a proper way of, disciplining this child without including the parents, because we parents, we are the cause of what our kids do. I submit.
Very well said. Thank you so much, Gladwell Kiragu. Jevan Karanja.
Thank you very much, Miriam. And I think the issue of indiscipline in our schools is something that should be looked critically to ensure that we avoid the kind of scenes that we are seeing from our school, from kids beating their teachers, burning the schools, and all that. And that will happen when the Minister of Education and the school heads come up with measures to ensure that those students who commit such crimes, the punishment should be severe. Nobody should be spared. Anybody who will be found committing all this crime in school, regardless of their age, the law should take its course. Because I think the problem is we give a big room for these kids to to do all manner of things, because there's no repercussion, there's no consequences for their deeds. I think we should have a mechanism of ensuring that we discipline our kids and we bring them in the right way. And to our parents, students and our kids are not to be raised by the teachers. These are not the time when our children was raised by a community. This time round, we have reduced the mandate to a parent. Therefore, it is the sole responsibility of every parent to ensure that they bring up their kids in the right way. They inculcate values and virtues that will make them a better person in future. I think all these things and the bringing up of a child should be a role that should be played by everyone, from school to homes, because if the parents are teaching their kids bad behaviors, even when a teacher tries to correct them, they will see the teacher as a person who is trying to curtail their freedom. But if the teachers and the parents can come together, reason together, and find a way of bringing these children in the right way, then these kids will start adapting and appreciating the roles played by both sides. But if we have different values from both sides, from home and from the school, this kid will be confused and they will end up finding their own route. They will start finding and exploring new means and doing other things that even is not biblically acceptable. It is not acceptable even in our cultures and so on. Therefore, I think we should not leave that gap. We should bridge the gap between the parents and the children, because the way we are raised up, Miriam, is not the way the likes of Dr. David Masango are raised up. There's that different, and time changes. Therefore, we need to bridge the gap and make the parents and their children more closer than the way they are now, because you find many parents, they are not even friendly to their kids. They don't know what their kids are going through. Therefore, I think we need to bridge the gap and bring a way of understanding between the parents and the kids, because times are different and parents might bring the odd things that the current generation might not understand. Therefore, the parents should do it in the right way, teachers should do it the right way, and these kids, Miriam, they are very wise, and when you talk to them nicely, Miriam, they listen. But when you bully them, when you're harsh to them, these kids, they will find a way of resisting, and they will show it through their deeds.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So we need to bridge the gap, and maybe need parents who are more present in the children's life. That is also another challenge. Gibson Gishuru.
I also think the society has a huge role to play, because first of all, if I may talk of Babu Wino, a few years back, there was this video which trended of him shooting a DJ at a club alongside the Eastern Bypass. Yet that same Babu Wino is still in government. He is still allowed to continue leading people and doing everything. So, as in, how does that? What picture does that send to the public in general when someone who was tried murdering someone is still allowed to rule over the people? as in what picture does that give
and the same
to
person
the
is expected to help in creating the laws that govern us.
yeah, but and still, as in how will we as the youth or the children learn from something like that? It simply shows that, as in, it's for me, what I can say from it, as in, yeah, it's okay, as in, yeah, you can still do something bad and still rule the people. That's what the government is portraying, because there is absolutely no way you can do something like that and still be allowed to rule over the people. He's still an MP.
Very, very interesting perspective that you just brought in there, Gibson, Gisheru. Paul Onyango, what's your thoughts on this conversation, this topic we're looking at right now?
So,
Paul, is Paul there?
Yes, I'm there.
Yes, your perspective. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much. And Paul, before you come in, Gibson was saying we as elders, we show very bad examples. So how will the younger people not copy our examples and go and ban schools? I think that was the point Gibson was trying to make. Yes. Go ahead, Paul. Mary, I'm sorry too.
It's okay. Thank you for the clarification. Paul, go ahead. Your thoughts on the head teachers and teachers, they're asking the parents to contribute to the solutions that will help in addressing the issue of indiscipline we see in school. But in a lot of cases, the parents have been blamed of even creating these monsters that go to these schools and cause chaos to other, students. So how do we find solutions to the indiscipline that we've seen being magnified in our high schools, especially?
My take is this. At one time, I was also in that age of school going. When I look back where I came from, or the way I was brought up, there were guidelines right from the home. As you progress to school, even if you go to church, there were structures that were there existing, both in education system, the syllabus system, all the subjects you cover, and also the way the society was organized. So it was very much easy to tender or reorganize a behavior in a child. Now, my complaint is goes back to the Ministry of Education. Since 1985, that syllabus that was there and the ones that they're covering today, they're totally different things. Before the establishment of CBC, there were certain subjects that were guiding what somebody is supposed to behave, both at home or at school. So those subjects were helping in building the character of a person. You are being made in school, in your character, and also at home. So what happened? Those subjects were removed. It became that you are only writing things. You are not taught anything about yourself. So that decay came over and over. The people who came out of school without those preparations in their character and behavior are the same people now we see some of them are leaders. So that decay was established by the government itself, the Ministry of Education, from the syllabus coverage, all the subjects that were being taught. Some of them were molding you to be a better person or a better Kenyan. So when those things were removed, there was no replacement. There was no alternative that was put in place. So first of all, the Ministry of Education, they must ensure whatever kind of curriculum that they are introducing, there must be part of it, must be part of how you can build somebody's character, right from home to school and after school. That should be part of the syllabus. Secondly, now they are saying they want to put a law in place. That law itself, they should be both punishing and also creating room, both at school and also at home. Even the parents should also be given some layout where they're supposed to come in to build their children to be better people. Not just giving it that you must do something, then you are punished for it. There should be a roadmap, right from at home and at school. If you look at the records of earlier, those who went to school earlier, there were certain schools, specific schools, not all, whereby a child character would be reported back to the parent. The parent, before you begin your new term, you must come with your parent. They discuss your character, they discuss your academic performance in school. Those things have been removed because of the certain laws that we introduced later on. Then some people of human rights, they complain about many other things. We need to make people to be people. We don't just create people out of nowhere. When we look at the way we live, we stay among the estates. Within the estates, there were certain areas that were set aside where there were playgrounds. In most estates, those playgrounds are no longer there. Children are roaming, they're doing very bad games. Along the roadsides, some don't care whether the roads are being used for vehicles and many other things. So you wonder, which kind of country are we living in? It is both the weak systems within the government and also certain things we can also blame our parents or the way the society is organized. So there's so many things that need to be done, not only at the low level, even the way we need to organize as a society, the way we are living. We also have to create, we have to introduce many more activities for children, especially when it comes to games. We need to introduce more. We need to expand facilities for them such that they don't have that empty space in their head so that they can create other things through their thoughts. That's my take.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you so much. And I think those are very important suggestions that all of you have made this afternoon. Yeah, they need to look at some of those things, but also outside of just reviewing the rules and making some of these things part of the law, which I think is very absolutely necessary. So I don't know how they've been operating without guidelines within the precepts of the law, so that they're able to address the issues of insecurity. Also, we need, the conditions. We've talked about this, and this is a point I've kept bringing it up, because we've seen a lot of this indiscipline cases and the banning of schools and the protesting and all that comes from public schools. That tells you perhaps there are things that worked 30 years ago in these boarding public schools that are no longer working. Some of these schools are dilapidated. They're not serviced well. They're not taken care of. Can you imagine sending your child? My son is in a boarding school. His school conditions are much better. But you imagine sending your child to a school for 3 months. They don't have proper meals. They don't have proper places to sleep. They don't have access to water. They don't even eat enough. At some point, as a human being, and these kids, I'm not making excuses for them. I think parents will still have a huge role in playing to ensure that our children are disciplined, period. I don't think we can give that responsibility to somebody else. That us as parents, we must do our job, period. And you find that these kids are away from home for a very long time. Can we not, even if you're not able to make these schools as comfortable, but can we at least make them livable for these children? Can we at least make sure they eat foods that at least are just okay, outside of what we hear? Because, I've heard parents threaten their kids, if you don't do well, what I'll do, I'll take you to a school back to the village and you'll see how life is difficult there. So essentially, already a child goes there with a mindset that this is like a punishment, If you don't do well, or if you continue this behavior, I'll take you to a boarding school somewhere, interiors there. So we have to make the schools there livable, just a little bit comfortable for our children. I think that might help. But also, parents, we must play our role. I still feel like the bulk of this problem lies with the parents. We are failing our children because we are not doing our job, and that is the truth. But also, we need other things to be taken care of. Doc, could you close the show for us this afternoon?
First of all, thank you very much, viewers. And we have been here for the last 3 good hours or so. I want to thank you all for having attended this show this afternoon. But the most important thing that we have taken key issues. One, the question of running mate in both parties is troubling. That's a point we must take home. The second phase, we looked at our schools, our children, our behavior, ethos, ethics. Do we have ethics? Do we have morals? If a deputy president is not working but earning a salary, what does a child listening to the TV, watching TV, will think of when he grows up? That he will cheat. He will go and cheat and earn a living. So this type of behavior comes from our homes, comes from our great places where we have been working, but we are making it worse. We are now throwing the challenges to the teachers who are also equally underpaid. Some of the teachers leave home and even borrow money from the students. Did you know that? We have teachers borrowing money for fare from students. So if you are borrowing money from a student, how will you discipline that student? So in a nutshell, Miriam, these topics are very important. We might be talking about them casually, but I'm telling you the topics of that nature towards the end shows of your shows, Gladwell and the Paul and the rest. Please bring those type of topics. That's very good you have done today. That topic leaves people in the community understanding what the community must be. I want to thank all of you. Thank you very much, Gibson Gichuru. Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you, Gladwell. I know you have to pass your time, and today we have seen your face. Continue to show us your face. You can see it is more interesting with your face on. And thank you very much above all, Germany Karanja, who has left already for another assignment. Thank you for attending and continue attending all the time. You will have all these things coming every time to your WhatsApp numbers. Keep the time. Let's go ahead and above all, thank you very much, Miriam, for moderating this very interesting show that has spoken a lot. You know, these are things that are not being spoken on main TV, and the people are not expressing their views the way we have expressed our views here this afternoon. From morning, we have done very well so far, and I thank you very much. The staff, the editors, the directors behind there in the headquarters, thank you very much, all of you. This is Punchline Africa Television, the station for Africa by Africa with Africa. Ciao.